Hi everybody, welcome to this quick video on why choose WordPress. Now first of all, just let me tell you that I've been building WordPress websites both for myself and for clients since 2009, and it was being able to get online that allowed me to walk away from my corporate job in 2012 and take my business full time. Now when I was first starting out, the options were things like Blogger or very simple sites like Weebly, but all I ever heard was that you need to build your own self-hosted website on your own domain, and I was never sure why. Why could I not just do it the easy way? Today I want to tell you that I'm so glad I listened to that advice early on, and why I believe now more than ever in this hugely competitive environment online that building on your own domain on WordPress is still the best option. So what does having a self-hosted website on your own domain mean? Basically, it means that you purchase a domain name, i.e. cartwheels across the sky, you buy hosting, and then you install WordPress on it. Now the domain name becomes the URL or website address of your place on the internet, and those two things together, both domain and the hosting, usually costs around $60 to $80 a year. Your hosting company will install WordPress for you or walk you through the process, usually a very simple one-click process. Now once you have WordPress installed on your site, then you need to choose a theme for it, which is the framework of how the site looks, and then you have to do some behind the scenes work obviously to get it looking how you would like it to. Now you can do this work yourself, learning the process, which is how I built my sites, or you can actually hire someone to do it. If you're going to be a person that goes on to create a lot of sites, I would always suggest that you learn how to do it yourself, or if cost is very important to you. Obviously, if you're starting out on a very strict budget, again, it's better for you if you learn how to do it because you haven't got that initial outlay. If you don't, however, want to go through the learning curve of everything and you'd rather hand that over to someone else, then obviously choosing a developer or a designer is the best option for you. So you might be saying to yourself, well, why can't I just use a platform such as WordPress.com, which is not self-hosted, or Blogger? Now, of course, there are these alternatives, and many of you will have seen people using those kind of sites. Now, it is slightly confusing with WordPress.com because it's actually a platform. It's not on your own domain. It's not hosted by you. But you've always got to remember it's the WordPress.org that is the self-hosted software. And so there's also lots of other very low cost or kind of even free website building sort of software out there. The thing with those is that they're not always the best way to rank you in the search engines, and also they don't have a lot of flexibility. The main disadvantages to sites not built on your own domain is that you ultimately don't own the site, which means that if there are any changes to the platform rules, you could be affected by those. Also, sometimes there are certain things you aren't allowed to do on these platforms, such as some forms of advertising, etc. Now you're also somewhat limited in what you can do, which brings us to the second huge benefit of self-hosted sites built on your own domain, and that is the flexibility and the things you can do with it. WordPress is a completely free piece of software, and it's what's called open source. That means that anyone can develop for it. They can create plugins and themes for it and either give them away free, or some of them do have premium options. Now a theme, as we have seen, is what gives your website its design, its layout and its structure. Plugins are what allow you to do a myriad of things, adding the functionality. So say you want social media buttons on there, adding a share bar at the bottom of posts, or embedding your newsletter. You can also use plugins to add an e-commerce aspect to your site if you want to include a store, and WooCommerce is excellent for that, which is actually a free plugin. So developers build new plugins all the time, which help with different aspects of what you want to do. And this is what makes it so powerful. It means that everyone's site looks unique, even if some are using the same plugins and themes. And that's why 25% of the world's websites and blogs are built using WordPress.org. Now, as I mentioned, WordPress itself is free to install and there are no recurring costs, as are many of the plugins and themes. They're also free. Some of them are premium, but if you don't want to go down that route starting out, you don't need to. All the plugins on my sites are actually free. I do have a premium theme, but that's the only premium aspect of it. And this is what gives it the advantage over other platforms that you might have seen, those ones that have a recurring monthly cost, because that can add up over the year. You might think, well, it's easier and quicker to get going with it, but sometimes it's better just to purchase it up front, the domain, etc., and have no recurring ongoing costs. Okay, so let's dive into 10 benefits of using WordPress. The first one is the ease of use. The interface is easy to navigate. When you're adding posts and pages, it's a WYSIWYG platform, so it's what you see is what you get. So as you're adding your text, you can underline it, you can make it bold, you can change the color, all those things. So it is super easy. You can manage it from anywhere as it's web-based, so you can log in even from a phone, an iPad, or anywhere around the world. So say you're away on a holiday, you needed to change something quickly, you can log straight in and change it. That's very different to a kind of customized platform that someone's built for you that's tied to your PC at work or your one at home. There's no coding required in WordPress. You don't have to go into any of the HTML if you don't want to. Everything is kind of what you see is what you get as you do it. Search engines like WordPress search engines love WordPress, and Google ranks sites built on the platform really well. Also, when you use an SEO plugin, it does much of the work for you, as it prompts you to add the title, the short description, and the keywords, etc. And it's doing those consistently, adding those things on your posts and your pages that are going to help you to rank and get found and sell more. It's 100% customizable, so as I said, even if you're using the same theme as someone else, it's not going to look the same. You own the site and you have complete control over it, and that's a big plus point. It's low cost, it's a free platform, and the outlay for the domain and the hosting is very low. You can have multiple users, so if you've got a larger company where you want several people to blog, or you want to use a developer that's in a different location to you, you can all log in from wherever you are in the world. Now you can use it as a straightforward static website, or you can have it with a continually evolving blog. Now a blog definitely helps you to get found in the search engines because it's fresh content going out all the time. But if you just want a static website where you have, your details on the home page, or you have maybe a store within it, or just a few different things like that, then you can do that as well. WordPress is super flexible in that way. And lastly, your site can grow and evolve as your business does. Once you have WordPress installed, you can change the theme, add functionality, add a shop, whatever you need. And again, that's what makes it so different than a customized site that you can never make changes to, or at least not very easily. Okay, so I hope that's helped you to understand how you get started with WordPress. I remember thinking at the beginning that it seemed so complicated, really, really daunting, and I put it off for a long time, and then I just decided, no, I'm going to dive in, I'm going to do it, and it was definitely the best decision. So if you're wondering whether it's worth the time and money investment, I would say don't ever doubt it. Your website is such an important element of your business that you want to make sure you make the right choice. I hope that's helped. If you have any questions, do pop them into the comments section below and I'll come back to you. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time.